Meanwhile, President Trump has long pushed NATO allies to do more for their own defense. But a new Reagan Institute survey finds many of his supporters still back the alliance. How about this? 73% of Americans say remaining in NATO matters to U.S. security and prosperity, including 64% of Republicans and 61% of MAGA Republicans. The director of Ronald Reagan's Institute, Roger Zakheim, a great friend of the show, joins us now. Roger, are you surprised by that?
I'm actually not. We've seen durable support for NATO across all Americans, especially Republicans and MAGA Republicans. One thing that's in there that wasn't captured in your intro is that young MAGA, we overextended on young MAGA here, 18 to 29-year-olds, to the tune of 70% support NATO. And I think it ties to something the president understands. It's a Reaganite principle, which is weakness invites aggression. And as long as NATO is strong, that's good for the United States. It's good for the free world.
And what the president has done is, for the first time, and I know Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush said, hey, guys, you got to pay your fair share. You got to pay your way, 2%. Now the president's got everybody paying 2%. Now we're getting up to 3%, 4%, and 5% of their defense budget.
31 of our 32 allies, Spain is the exception, we won't focus on them right now, 31 NATO allies committed to 3.5% of GDP to defense direct and an additional 1.5% indirect to defense. Unprecedented. It came from pressure from the Trump administration. I think it's going to yield results. The person who understands this and is going to respond in a way that concedes to NATO interests is Vladimir Putin. He doesn't want NATO to be strong.
And I'll tell you what, Vladimir Putin is almost flat on his back because of the way Ukraine's fighting and because of the weapons they got. But I will say this, NATO has certainly let us down when it came to what's happening in the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, I mean, allies need to step up with us. They did not on Iran. You can discuss, hey, maybe they should have been more kind of discussion in advance of the operation. But once we were in a fight, NATO allies should join us. Some of them did. So it wasn't an alliance large issue. I mean, the Poland and the Balts are doing more than their fair share. So it's not writ large across the 32 allies, but some of those core allies did not, like France, Germany, and the UK.
So if Ronald Reagan was successful the first time he ran for president against Gerald Ford, he would have been president in 1976 for the 200th birthday. What would he think of America 250 as we sit there with the Capitol right behind us?
American pride. That simple. President Reagan loved America, and most importantly, he wanted all Americans to love America, and he's been rejoicing at what we've accomplished in these 250 years, and we've been excited not just about what we accomplished in the past, but about America's future.
So when you talk about Ronald Reagan, he was not also born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he was not an Ivy Leaguer who had a glide path to power in politics.
President Reagan wanted all Americans to have equal opportunity. This is someone who came, childhood of the Depression, someone who saw our veterans return from World War I, saw firsthand World War II. He was in the military at that time and understood that he had to fight for freedom. It's not something that you're born with. It's not something in the bloodstream. You have to fight and defend it all the time, and that's what America does.
Well, also, I think it's important, he had an alcoholic dad, right? I mean, he had a tough upbringing.
I mean, modest upbringing, but not someone who kind of was governed by victimhood. Someone who was proud of what he had, loved his country, and wanted to work and achieve more, and he wanted that for all Americans.
And America, we should realize through the fans of the World Cup, they're seeing America how great it is. Sometimes we take it for granted. Roger, you don't. Thanks so much for coming on. Put it all in perspective. Great survey.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.